Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner, and you're on stage 6 of Volta a País Vasco Tour of the Basque Country. It will not disappoint. Mass chaos. I have never seen anything like this in a long time. This is an amazing stage with just riders all over the place on today's stage. It's only a 70-mile stage with 7 category climbs, 110K total in distance if you need kilometers. When I turn on the computer, it's 86K to go. Team UAE Emirates has everything under control. You'll see Brandon McNulty back there. He's eating on a bar and chowing down some food. He looks fantastic. Everything is calm and relaxed. We are only 20 miles into today's race. That's 30K. Now, we're going to start the third from last climb. This is the longest of the climbs on today's stage. It's about 10K long, so 6 miles. And things are smooth with UAE Team Emirates as the climb begins. It won't stay that way. There's panic everywhere about to take shape, and it begins when there's a 9 riders group up the road. 2 start bridging across, no problem. UAE Team Emirates is still calm and relaxed. Then the favorites start going with Primož Roglič. This causes a bit of chaos, and you'll see Brandon McNulty and Tadej Pogačar. They're covering the move. It's neutralized. After that, Jumbo-Visma send another rider. I believe it's Sam Omen or Antoine Hullet that's further up in the group to begin with. And Sam Omen probably going across right now, but it's Jumbo-Visma, whoever it is. This causes some problems. This is where we see the tactical mistakes start to come into play with UAE Team Emirates. It's Mark Hirschi from UAE Team Emirates that goes with the Jumbo-Visma kid when he attacks. This is not what you want to do. Remember, we're only 25 miles into today's stage. Everybody has great legs at this moment. So when the attacks go, do they look impressive? Of course they do. We're only 25 miles into today's stage. When these attacks go, you got to let them go. UAE Team Emirates starts coming apart. You see one rider on the front is dropping off the front. Mark Hirschi is going with the Jumbo-Visma rider. That's leaving the number 1 rule in bike racing is being broken. Okay? You do not leave your favorite rider, your team leader, on a stage like today that's wearing the yellow jersey, and you have Tadej Pogačar back there. Now, if one strong rider, Mark Hirschi's going up the road, they're losing that guy. UAE Team Emirates is losing another one that's getting dropped. Now they've just lost 2, and in the matter of a few seconds, they just gave up 2, and they only had 5 to begin with. Now you're left with 3 there. What are they going to do? They set some tempo in the back. Mark Hirschi's hurting his legs up here in the front, trying to go with that acceleration because everybody's fresh. So every acceleration hurts. Every attack hurts the legs and starts adding nails. Now, Hirschi will go over the top somewhere, but they won't catch the front group. That front break had swelled to 12, 13, 14 riders at this particular point in time when they go over the front, with most teams represented in there other than UAE Team Emirates. When the action continues at the Basque Country, I've always said it's split decisions that decide this race. Astana back in with the group of favorites. Their team throws a big sprint over the top of the summit with 3 climbs to go, and they're going to do a daredevil descent to try to blow this race up and get more guys into the front group. Primož Roglič is on top of it. He immediately attaches. This is where UAE Team Emirates fell apart. Brandon McNulty and Tadej Pogačar had to go with that Astana team because they had Primož Roglič there. And they have already given up their riders. They got one rider up the road that's killing his legs. Other riders have gotten dropped now. They're left with only 2, Tadej Pogačar and Brandon McNulty, to go down the descent. Up front in the group chasing, now you have Astana throwing down a big dig, and Primož Roglič is sitting back there eating and drinking. Like, it's a crazy descent. I'm sure it was hairball descent. But Primož is not touching the wind. This is called free seconds. They're giving you a free ride. He'll go down the descent, which is about 5-7K. They'll hit the flat section. And Astana keep pushing the pace. They're driving the pace till they close up on the front group of the breakaway riders with only 3 riders left up in front. Now this is where the tactics start getting absolutely chaos. You have Astana riding full gas. You have Movistar riding full gas. Bahrain Meridia's riding full gas. Jumbo-Visma has 1 rider up there riding with those guys. And Primož Roglič, number 1 rider in the world, winning everything, he's sitting back there getting a free ride. Got a free ride all the way down the descent. Now he's getting a free ride through the valley and not once having to touch the wind. In the back, behind that group, it's chaos. You have UAE Team Emirates with Tadej Pogačar and Brandon McNulty. They had to do the descent. Now they're doing the flat. They had Mark Hirschi up front. They pull Mark Hirschi back. He comes back, but he can only pull through the valley, and that's going to leave Tadej Pogačar on his own doing the bulk of the work. So there through the valley before the second to last climb starts, it's Tadej Pogačar rotating through with Mark Hirschi, and there's Brandon McNulty, race leader from UAE Team Emirates, sitting on and not working. Up front. Now, I agree at the moment with Astana's tactics. When they went down the descent, that was fine. You get mass numbers up there. When they were pulling with Movistar, Bahrain Meridia, and of course, Jumbo-Visma, that tactic was fine because there were still 3 riders up the road. But once they caught those 3 riders through the valley there, that's when they needed to stop working and just let Jumbo-Visma do what they need to do to win this race. Instead, everyone's back there working for Jumbo-Visma. Jumbo-Visma haven't had to touch the wind as a full team throughout this whole 6 days of racing at the Basque Country. I've never seen anything like it in my entire career. So if this was a strategy, it was one I've never witnessed in my entire career, and they just started a new trend. They should try this at every race, not ever having to ride the front and see how it works out, because they're getting a fantastic limousine ride to the start of the next climb. When the next climb starts, Tadej Pogačar is still off the back of the Primož Roglič group with his race leader, Brandon McNulty, and they're only 20 seconds or so back. This is a gap that's closable on this next climb if Brandon McNulty has form. When they start to climb, Tadej Pogačar realizes right away Brandon McNulty is starting to come off the wheel when his group of riders start opening up a gap on the GC leader of the Tour of the Basque Country, and he's opening a gap. We'll see Tadej Pogačar going to the right turn, getting onto the radio, and he's asking the team, what do I do? Brandon just got dropped. I've been pulling all the way through the valley for the last 10K, and we're losing our team leader. The gap is only 15, 25 seconds to Primož Roglič. For sure in the radio, they told him to go. He jumps, and now Primož Roglič is hearing in his radio that is Tadej Pogačar coming across, and we're at 46 kilometers to go. So from about 65 to about 46, we're talking 20K. Primož Roglič has gotten a free ride. He's never had to touch the front. He's had teammates with him, or he's had other teams riding the front and never touched the front. Tadej Pogačar has been riding down the descent and through the valley, so he's been riding and rotating on the front for 20K while Primož has been getting a free ride. Now, Primož lights it up. He's starting to drop everyone. He gets it down to a select group. When he drops the quick-step rider, Van Savenot, I believe it is. Later, he'll drop the Bahrain Meridia rider, Pello Bilbao. And then he'll drop the legendary rider, the 40-year-old Alejandro Valverde from Movistar. Now remember, Movistar rode back there. Astana rode back there. Pello Bilbao's Bahrain Victorious team rode back there. And now they're all getting dropped. This causes a dilemma, okay? When he drops these guys, he's got to drop them, of course, because Tadej's coming across. But when you drop all those guys from that group, now you've given guys that Tadej can catch, and they'll work with him in order to bring back Primož Roglič. Go over the top of the climb. Everything on the stage at this moment, we're talking 30 seconds plus or minus 10 is what the distance is between Primož Roglič trying to win this and Tadej Pogačar from UAE Team Emirates trying to catch the race leader so that he could try to drop him on the last climb and keep the win for Team UAE Emirates. Now, here's the dilemma. Primož Roglič is riding the next 20K on the front all by himself. He's got FDJ rider David Gaudu sitting on and Hugh Carthy from EF Education also sitting on. Those two hung on to him all the way up the climb for dear life, and now they've gotten to sit on him down the descent. When they go through the valley there, Primoz has been riding for at least 20K on the front, which leaves us to believe that Tadej Pogačar has a chance to come back. He's got Adam Yates working with him, and he also has Alejandro Valverde now, who Primoz dropped, that's working back there with Tadej Pogačar. That is a good combination. At this moment in the race, I thought for sure Tadej Pogačar would stand a good chance of being able to come back when they got 3 to 5 riders back there chasing at times versus one pulling on the front. Now through this next valley, with 26 kilometers to go, we're going to see Hugh Carthy and David Gaudu start rotating on the front. Okay, why are they rotating on the front? They've been sitting on the whole time while Primoz Roglic has been pulling. Now all of a sudden they start rotating through. You know you can't drop Primoz Roglic on this last climb, so you can't win the stage, especially if you're going to start pulling through. What happened? Okay, this is right away. You spot it. Either the directors talked to each other or Primoz Roglic talked with the riders, and he said, hey guys, you rotate through and you guys can battle it out for the stage. I'll sit behind. I'll get second or third, whatever happens. But I won't sprint. I won't drop you guys when we go up the climb if you work with me now. For sure, there's a deal being made back there, and that's why with 26K to go, we'll start seeing Hugh Carthy and we'll start seeing Gaudu from FDJ. We'll start seeing them rotating through, and you'll see them rotate through all the way to the start of the last climb and even up the last climb until we're about halfway up when David Gaudu throws in a big dig, and that drops Hugh Carthy. Now, you know Primoz Roglic has some good legs because he lets Gaudu go, and then he jumps across with Breeze and attaches onto his wheel. David Gaudu is digging deep. This character is a good bike racer. We've seen him at the Tour de France when he's riding back there for his team leader, Thibaut Pinot, to try to win the Tour in 2019. He's got good legs. He's gotten a lot of rest on today's stage, and he's only had to start pulling from 26 kilometers to go. When he gets rid of Hugh Carthy, he's going deep because he knows from the deal they made at 26K to go, probably started with about 30K to go and was agreed upon at 26K to go, that he doesn't have to worry about Primoz Roglic, so he's going 100%. He'll pull all the way to 1K to go. You'll see the two come up to each other and give each other a fist bump. Under 1K to go, you'll see them celebrate at the line as they cross, with David Gaudu getting an amazing victory on a legendary climb at the Tour of the Basque Country. Primoz Roglic, Jumbo-Visma, will jump himself back into the lead and win the Tour of the Basque Country in an amazing chaos, super fantastic Tour of the Basque Country last stage. Probably the best I've ever seen here at the Basque Country, if not any other race. It was fabulous win. Behind, Jonas Vingegaard has been sitting on Tadej Pogačar the whole day. He's going to finish second on the podium. Jumbo-Visma take first and second on GC. Tadej Pogačar, who rode impressive, except for getting dropped on the descent. Possibly he was waiting for Brandon McNulty. Either way, in a split second at the Basque Country, they let the favorite rider, one of the number one ranked riders in the world here, Primoz Roglic, go down the descent with a gap and Astana pulling in front. That's where they made their major mistake. It started halfway up that climb when Mark Hirschi started going and they leave their team leaders, but it continued over the top. That was a massive mistake. They're going to pay the price for that. But Tadej Pogačar will finish on the podium for UAE Team Emirates and try to salvage something. It's not going to be enough. They're still going to have the walk of shame when they get to the airport for sure after a beating like they took on today's stage. Was a magical stage. Jumbo-Visma not only take first and second on the general classification, but they take everything else too. Young, leaders, mountain climbs, everything. They got the jerseys for everything that you could have here at the Basque Country. They were fantastic. In my opinion, I loved the racing. It was amazing. I'm G'd up still while I'm doing this interview, but it was mass chaos. Nobody could have predicted what this showdown would have been on today's stage. How can you predict that 3 or 4 teams are going to ride pulling Jumbo-Visma's Primoz Roglic through the valley and away from race leader Brandon McNulty and Tadej Pogačar? It was absolutely chaos throughout the whole stage. I've never seen anything like this much chaos in such a stage. It was unbelievable, but enjoyable to watch. I hope you guys agree with me on the Basque Country as being a race to always tune into year in and year out when it's coming on. It loses some light from the classics up north, but now with so much ability to watch the races all around the world, you know you should always make time this time of the year to tune into the Basque Country. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next race.